Interest rates represent the cost of borrowing money. They determine how much you'll pay back on top of the principal amount borrowed. Conversely, if you deposit money in a savings account, the interest rate reflects the return you earn. Understanding interest rates is essential for navigating personal finance and making informed investment decisions. Interest rates are carefully calibrated by central banks like the Federal Reserve. By adjusting the policy rate, central banks influence borrowing costs across the economy. Lowering the policy rate encourages borrowing and spending, while raising it can curb inflation. This balancing act is crucial for economic stability. Central banks aim to maintain price stability and promote employment. Lowering interest rates can stimulate growth, but may lead to higher inflation. Conversely, raising rates can cool an overheating economy. The Fed's decisions impact everything from mortgage rates to business investments. Central banks rely on economic indicators to set interest rates. Key indicators include inflation and unemployment rates. High unemployment may prompt lower rates to stimulate job growth. Central banks aim to promote sustainable economic growth and price stability. Interest rates are influenced by supply and demand in the open market. High money supply relative to demand lowers interest rates. Government borrowing and household savings also impact rates. Interest rates directly impact the cost of borrowing for consumers. Low rates make borrowing affordable, stimulating economic growth. However, overborrowing can lead to financial strain if rates rise. Understanding borrowing costs is essential for sound financial decisions. Interest rates affect returns on savings. High rates reward savers, while low rates may push them to riskier investments. Balancing risk and return is crucial in financial planning. Diversifying savings can help mitigate risk. Low interest rates boost consumer spending on big-ticket items. This demand drives economic growth and job creation. High rates can dampen spending and slow growth. Central banks must balance stimulating activity and controlling inflation. Interest rates influence business investment decisions. Lower rates make borrowing for projects more attractive. High rates can slow investment and economic growth. Interest rates impact business expansion plans. Low rates make it easier to finance growth. High rates may lead to cautious expansion strategies. Interest rates affect day-to-day operational costs for businesses. Low rates ease borrowing costs, while high rates squeeze profit margins. Businesses may need to adjust pricing or cut costs in response. Monitoring interest rate trends helps businesses make informed decisions. Section 1. The government as borrower. Just like individuals and businesses, governments often need to borrow money to finance their operations, invest in infrastructure, or cover budget deficits. When governments borrow, they typically issue bonds, which are essentially IOUs, that promise to repay the borrowed amount plus interest at a future date. The interest rate that governments pay on their debt is influenced by a variety of factors, including the overall level of interest rates in the economy, the creditworthiness of the government, and the perceived risk associated with lending to that particular government. When interest rates are low, it becomes cheaper for governments to borrow money, making it more tempting to take on debt to finance spending programs or infrastructure projects. This can be particularly appealing during economic downturns, as governments may seek to stimulate growth through increased spending. However, excessive borrowing can lead to a build-up of government debt, which can have long-term consequences for the economy. High levels of government debt can crowd out private investment. As governments compete with businesses for a limited pool of savings, this can lead to higher interest rates, making it more expensive for businesses to invest and grow. Moreover, high debt levels can increase a country's vulnerability to economic shocks, as a larger portion of government revenue must be allocated to debt service, potentially limiting its ability to respond effectively to crises. Section 2: Fiscal Policy at the Crossroads. Interest rates play a crucial role in the effectiveness of fiscal policy, which refers to the use of government spending and taxation to influence the economy. When interest rates are low, governments may be more inclined to implement expansionary fiscal policies, such as increasing spending or cutting taxes, as the cost of financing these measures is relatively low. This can help stimulate economic activity during recessions or periods of slow growth. However, the effectiveness of fiscal policy can be diminished when interest rates are high. If a government tries to stimulate the economy through increased spending or tax cuts while interest rates are rising, it could lead to higher interest rates overall. This is because increased government borrowing to finance these measures can crowd out private investment, putting upward pressure on interest rates. This crowding out effect can dampen the intended stimulative impact of fiscal policy, making it less effective in boosting economic activity. The interaction between interest rates and fiscal policy highlights the importance of coordination between monetary and fiscal authorities. When central banks are raising interest rates to combat inflation, for example, expansionary fiscal policies could counteract these efforts and lead to higher inflation. Conversely, when central banks are lowering rates to stimulate growth, contractionary fiscal policies such as austerity measures could undermine these efforts and prolong economic stagnation. Section 3: Public spending, a delicate balancing act. Interest rates also have a direct impact on the sustainability of government spending, particularly in countries with high levels of existing debt. When interest rates rise, the cost of servicing existing debt increases, requiring governments to allocate a larger portion of their budgets to interest payments. This can create a vicious cycle, as higher interest payments leave less room for other essential spending, potentially leading to cuts in public services, infrastructure investment, or social programs. Moreover, rising interest rates can make it more challenging for governments to refinance their debt as it comes due. Refinancing involves issuing new debt at prevailing interest rates to pay off maturing debt. If interest rates have risen since the original debt was issued, refinancing can significantly increase a government's debt burden. This can lead to a sovereign debt crisis, where investors lose confidence in a government's ability to repay its debts, potentially triggering a financial crisis. The impact of interest rates on government spending underscores the importance of fiscal responsibility. Governments must carefully manage their debt levels and ensure that spending remains sustainable, even in a rising interest rate environment. This may require making difficult choices, such as prioritizing essential spending, finding ways to increase revenue, or implementing structural reforms to improve long-term economic growth and reduce the need for borrowing. Section 1: The interconnected web. Interest rates influence every facet of the economy. From mortgages to corporate investments, they shape financial decisions. A minor shift can impact the entire economy. Central banks set these rates, influencing everything from mortgages to business capital. Understanding their actions is key to navigating the financial landscape. Interest rates affect consumer behavior, business strategy, and government policy. Low rates can drive spending and growth, but also lead to debt. Businesses may expand, creating jobs, but risking exposure if rates rise. Governments might increase spending, risking higher debt. Section 2: Navigating the rate landscape. Navigating interest rates requires vigilance and adaptability. Consumers must balance borrowing and saving decisions, borrow responsibly to ensure manageable payments. Savers should explore diverse options for better returns. Businesses must seize opportunities while managing risks. Low rates can spur growth, but avoid over-reliance on cheap credit. Adjust strategies when rates rise to maintain profitability. Governments must manage debt and prioritize long-term sustainability. Prudent spending and structural reforms are essential. Avoiding a cycle of rising debt and higher interest payments is crucial. Section 3: Interest Rates, a Collective Destiny. The story of interest rates is ultimately a story about our collective economic destiny. The decisions we make as individuals, businesses, and governments, influenced by the prevailing interest rate environment, shape the economic landscape for years to come. By understanding the dynamics of interest rates, we empower ourselves to make more informed choices, both financially and in terms of the policies we support. As we've seen, interest rates are not merely abstract figures confined to the financial pages. They are the lifeblood of the economy, influencing our ability to buy homes, start businesses, and secure our financial futures. They are the levers by which central banks attempt to steer the economy towards stability and growth, a delicate balancing act with profound implications for us all. And they are a constant reminder that our economic fates are intertwined, our decisions reverberating through the intricate web of interconnectedness that binds us together. In a world of constant change and uncertainty, one thing remains clear. Interest rates will continue to play a pivotal role in shaping our economic lives. By embracing a deeper understanding of this powerful force, we can navigate the financial landscape with greater confidence, make more informed decisions, and work together towards a more prosperous and sustainable future. The journey through the world of interest rates is ongoing, but armed with knowledge and awareness, we can face the challenges and opportunities ahead with greater clarity and purpose.